Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another request. This is from the movie reviewer next door who sent in a paid request for me to talk about The Game from 1997. For those interested in requesting any other type of movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, dreams, commentaries, tier lists, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Now, The Game, honestly, it's always been my favorite David Fincher film, which I know is not the usual answer. When people think of David Fincher, they think of Seven, they think of Fight Club. He's also done The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Zodiac, and Alien 3. Which, if you've been on my channel, you know my thoughts on that movie. But this one always caught me the most. I liked Seven, I liked Fight Club, but this one, it's hard to explain without giving it away, because I do think this is one of those films that's best enjoyed when you know very, very little about it. If you go into it blind and you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know what the ending is, and you see it, and then you'll be one or two things. You'll be like me and really enjoy it, or you'll be like, what the fuck, and and dismissive on it. Before I get into spoilers and stuff, I will say the setup of the film is Michael Douglas. He has a job where he's fairly rich. He has a great house, pretty much a mansion. You can tell though he's distant. He's rather cold. Not too much. You just say dickish, but just more cold and distant and lonely. But he's not purposely going out of his way to hurt people or put people down. He's not villainous like his character in Wall Street. He's not crazy, or at least a bit crazy, like his character in Falling Down. Although weirdly, his character Falling Down is, in a way, likable. But you tell he's got baggage. And we see in little snippets of flashbacks that his father died by jumping off and ending his own life around his 48th birthday, and now Michael Douglas is coming up upon his own 48th birthday, and you tell he's kind of stuck, where he's not depressed, but you tell he's divorced from his wife. He pretty much just sits by himself, a little bit of wine, watching TV, and doesn't really have many close friends. And something definitely missing in his life. So one day, his brother, played by Sean Penn, who does a good job, he makes an impact even though he's in the film for maybe about 3 or 4 times. He's only in the film 3 or 4 times, like 3 or 4 scenes, but he definitely stands out. Gives him a birthday present, which there's a card, and in it is an invitation to CRS, aka Consumer Recreation Services. And when he goes in, the guy tells him it's a game. It's seeing what someone is missing and kind of giving it to him. It's not the correct way it's not the exact way he says it, but pretty much that gist of it. And then pretty much strange things start happening. Strange things like there's a clown doll in his driveway, and he brings it in, and then his TV starts acting up, and then the anchorman on the news program he usually watches starts talking to him, and some kind of interference, and there's a camera inside the clown doll. There's weird occurrences where his briefcase is now locked, and hotel rooms that he didn't rent, and there's cocaine and stuff in there. His place has been rummaged, and there's blacklight graffiti everywhere, and warnings, and things keep ratcheting up more and more and more. And your thought process is this part of the game, although a pretty intense game? Is there more nefarious purposes? Is it a big scam? Is it a big way, the Sting kind of way? I'm talking about the film from back in the day, where it's this big con to steal this guy's money and savings and know your passwords. Like, what is the deal with it? You're not supposed to know until the end of the film. Which, no matter, when you go with endings like this, it's always going to be divisive no matter what. That's the chance you take with it. And what I like about it, I do think it's a good looking film, like most of David Fincher films. I mean, even Alien 3, which I don't like, I do think there are scenes that do look good within the prison, even for a guy like me who hates Alien 3. 7, very good looking film. Same with Fight Club, same with this. So he's definitely from the music video background, without all the hectic editing that music videos sometimes have. He does give a grand look to his films, and solid lighting throughout his pictures. Michael Douglas, I've always enjoyed as an actor. Whether it be, I mentioned Falling Down, Black Rain is a very good one. I even don't mind the Ghost in the Darkness for what it is. I don't mind it. He was good in Ant-Man. I mean, I have enjoyed Michael Douglas in a lot of stuff. He was in Romancing the Stone. This would be one of my favorite roles of his, one of my favorite movies of his. Again, this along with Falling Down and Black Rain and a few others. I think he does a really good job where he's suspicious when he should be. He's paranoid where anybody would be paranoid. And there are moments where he's exasperated. There's moments where he's scared. And you really see how his kind of stiff posture dwindles the more that's taken away from him. There's a point in the film where he's been completely humbled and he's begging for a ride to get back, and I'll explain that later, where you see his performance in that compared to the beginning. You just see how stripped away he is, and he's just, even his tone of voice is a little bit more warmer. There's a scene later on where there's two scenes. There's a scene where he talks with his ex-wife on the phone, and there's a scene where he talks to his ex-wife in person later on, and you just see the demeanor, the tone, the cadence in his voice, how things have just completely changed and shifted, which is the purpose. And that's some of the reasons why I liked this film. I like the arc of the character. I like the story, even when I know where it's going. In fact, because I know where it's going, I like it. Which, again, I'll get to that later. And it makes me think about how certain things were structured. And I also feel sorry for the character. All the stuff he's going through. That's just one thing on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. Is like, God damn, I wouldn't want to go through this, and I'm sure you wouldn't either. So it's easy to feel sorry for the character. Like I said, Sean Penn does fine for the few scenes he's in. Deborah Unger. Some people may know her as the character Dahlia Gillespie in the Silent Hill movie. She's been in other films throughout the years. She plays this waitress who, in the midst of all this, Michael Douglas beats, and she gets involved in the middle of everything. Other actors, Armin Mueller-Stahl, where I remember he was in the first X-Files movie, and he's been in a lot of other stuff. He's an older gentleman who Michael Douglas is doing a bit of business with throughout the film. There's a few other, I always forget his name, but there's the guy that Michael Douglas first meets at CRS, and I believe it's the same guy from Independence Day. who's the guy keeping secrets from the president about Area 51. And when President Bill Pullman's like, there is no Area 51, and he's like, that, sir, that may not be entirely correct. And then he later gets fired for his bullshit. I think that's the same guy. I believe so. In fact, let me look him up real quick. I know I'm just always bad with names. That's just how it is. But it'll take me just a minute. James Rebhorn. Yes, James Rebhorn. He was also in My Cousin Vinny, My Fellow Americans, and yeah, Albert and Independence Day. But yeah, James Rebhorn, who sadly passed away in 2014. Damn, I didn't know he passed away, especially so long ago, but rest in peace to him. Good character actor. He did a good job. But it's definitely mostly focused on Michael Douglas's character. And I think it does a good job ratcheting up the tension, where again, just one thing after the other happens to this guy, and you're just wondering what the fuck, what's going to happen next, and when's this going to stop, and all this other stuff. Now, I have to give away a big spoiler, so for those who have never seen the film, I would say check it out. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't, but I rather enjoy it. I've always have. And the teaser's really cool too. I love the teaser to this because it's a puppet on strings, and you just hear dialogue, and the puppet's being strung around left and right, and like, it's such a unique way of doing a teaser that just makes things so much more mysterious. It doesn't give away anything of the movie, and it just pulls you in, and it's like, what is going on here? And you get the idea that here's a person who's being pulled in all directions, controlled until something snaps or something's cut. Like, that's a great way to sell your film. Just check out the teaser for this. It's really good. It's like a minute long or such. This is when they had teasers like this. Like, they had the teaser for Terminator 2 when it's just Arnold's character being made in the Cyberdyne factory. And I mean, back in the day when they did teasers. But they don't really do, quote, teasers like this. But, I mean, that's among the 100 other things they don't do nowadays. So the twist of the film, heavy spoilers starting now, is, I mean, all the shit's ratcheting up. There's, he finds the paper where they wrote stuff down, but he finds out they wrote in invisible ink. Sean Penn is getting more and more paranoid, and he's like, I paid him more to make them stop. They're trying to get me too. And then Sean Penn thinks Michael Douglas is part of it, and he runs off, and he goes to see the waitress, Deborah Unger, and then, wait, there's nothing in the fridge, and the books are fake. She's part of this. But she's like, wait, we're being watched, and they get shot at, and they run away. And then he gets to another place, he gets drugged, he just left in Mexico, and there's like a little coffin. And that's what I'm talking about, where he gets to a point where he just completely, everything's taken away. It seems like they've taken the money from his banks. His brother apparently is in some institution. He has no money. The one thing he has is his watch, and he has to give his watch away, and all this other stuff. And that's when, he gets a ride on a bus, and then he's in a diner. He's like, hey, I got $18. Anyone can take me to San Francisco? And again, his demeanor just, it's warm, and he's not begging, but he's like, you feel sorry for him. You just see his demeanor is completely changed. Same with, again, he talks to his ex-wife, where on the phone is very clipped and very short and very... just, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for these emotions. I don't have time for these feelings. Okay, I'm glad you called. Yeah, and how's your husband? Like, as soon as she says he stops the phone, here he apologizes, and he's much more warm and friendly. And Again, good acting work by Michael Douglas. He finds out that one of the people he talked to was an actor, and then finds how to connect with this actor, pulls a gun on him, gets into the facility where these other guys are at. This frenzy happens, he's ready to shoot, and then there's Sean Penn, gets shot. He thinks he killed his own brother, and it was all prank a party. He jumps off, just like his dad jumped off years and years ago. You think he's dead, and then crashes and into this big, giant pad, like a stunt pad. And you realize that yes, it's just a prank, bro. It was all part of the game. Which again, there's only a certain way this is going to end. Yes, it's all a scam, and he takes them down. No, he doesn't, and he dies, or he jumps off, or it's a prank. Whichever direction you're in, there's going to be a certain amount of people that get mad about that. I actually like the ending the way it is. Number one, I can only talk for myself. In my mind, I'm setting it up for the other way because just how dark and depressing and sad the end of The Seven is. His previous film. And like, oh God, it's going to end like this. And when it's the opposite, oh, okay, he got me. Number two, it reminds me of another film, which I don't want to give away the movie because people will be like, oh, you gave it away. I'll say it's a film from 1980. I'll put it this way. It's a holiday film from 1986. That's a similar fashion of an ending, and I loved when they did in that movie. I love when they did in this. Because it's not done often because of the risk of when you do it like that, it's going to piss a lot of people off. Because there are a good chunk of people that want the darker or more depressing or more vile or more angry or more sad ending. I'm the guy that likes happy endings. Not just this kind, but the other kind too. I like both sets of happy endings. So I was fine with it ending that way. Because I liked Michael Douglas's character, and then whenever I rewatched the film, I'm like, okay, yeah, they had to do this, and they had to do that, and yes, I'm sure for some people, understandably, it could press a lot of buttons of, is this possible for them to go this far? I mean, it's one thing to graffiti his place. It's another to him be in a damn taxi cab, and the driver jumps off, letting the car jump off the pier into the water. Although they do explain, oh, there were divers there, and in case something happened. And it's like, yeah, if he hit his head and got knocked out, would the divers have had enough time to open up the fucking door and not make it so he drowned? Same with certain decisions that are made. And sorry for that pause, damn sinuses. It's just how it is with the changing of the weather. So apologies. But when, for example, when Michael Douglas gets back from Mexico and he sees his ex-wife, how would this company know at this time, at this moment, he would, I guess maybe the idea is they would pipe in the commercial during that time, but what if he didn't notice the commercial? What if he didn't see the commercial? What if he wasn't paying attention to it? Oh, that commercial with that actor. Oh, he's an actor. How would they know Michael Douglas would remember what kind of fucking Chinese food the guy had way back when they first met? Because that guy came in with Chinese food. Granted, he did say, hey, do you want some? So kind of pushing that element. But again, what if he didn't remember that? What if he it never? I guess the idea is that they would have come up with something else. I guess. But still, it's a lot of time from the gift from Mexico to this diner to San Francisco to all this other stuff. That's a lot of time. So it makes you wonder, were they going to try to give any clues earlier? How long were they going to wait? What if he just said, I'm not going to do anything? Would they have continued? Would they have tried to sell his home? Would they have said, hey, dude, I know you gave up, you know, but I guess that's the idea, is that they do all these psychological studies to try to fathom that. But it's like, okay, well, how do they keep so that the cops don't find out about this? Like, this is a lot of people involved. Although, that's the thing, each time I ask a question, I could kind of come with an answer, because at the end, it's like, here's the bill. You want help with the bill? Please. And Michael Douglas looked at it, like, you kidding me? And this is a guy who's rich, so obviously it's a pretty fucking expensive bill, but only for the rich folks. So there are questions to ask. You could kind of figure stuff out on your own, or think of stuff, or imagine stuff. And for some, that would be an annoyance. For me, it's kind of the fun of it. It's kind of the fun of, okay, maybe they did this, maybe they did that, and I just like the whole idea behind it. This complicated game that, there's that part of me that at the end of the film, I'm sitting there going, why isn't Michael Douglas yelling, you motherfuckers, like, you made me feel like I killed my brother, and you pieces of shit, fuck you. I'm sure a lot of people would be going, I would be pissed. Why is Michael Douglas hugging his brother? And he should be fucking pissed at these people. Fuck you guys. But I mean, the idea is, and that's why I don't mind it. I probably would have been pissed and say, fuck you. Fuck all you people. You suck my dick. And try to punch someone in the face. That's probably what I would do, is try to punch someone in the face for putting me through this. But the idea is that elation of, thank God this is not real. Thank God this is all a prank. Thank God my brother is alive. Everything's going to be back to normal. In fact, it'll be better than normal because my money is still here. My house is still there. I would assume more than likely they'll go in to clean up his house and fix up the shit they broke and stuff. And I'm trying to remember, he gives his watch in Mexico. Did he get his watch back? Because it was a present from his parents. It was the last thing he had. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if they have that in there now. Yeah. But I think so. But anyway, the idea is that appreciate what you have. And sometimes it takes the craziest scenarios to appreciate what you really have. And there's that part that, what if you could live a movie where you're full of danger and suspense and close calls. But if you knew about it, then it wouldn't be as potent because you know about it. And here's the thing. If people would absolutely do this. I mean, if you don't believe me, what the McCamey Manor? Look up McCamey Manor from years and years ago that shows all this danger and little torture. And people were coming in the buttloads to do it, and they knew what was going to happen. Now imagine it was like this much more complicated, grandiose thing if the person paying for it could afford it. Deep down, maybe you would want to go through this experience, and it'd be a life-changing thing, something definitely you would remember for the rest of your life. And as I'm watching, I kind of thought, you know what? What this really is a unique take on A Christmas Carol. Michael Douglas is like a Scrooge type of character. Rich, distant, cold. And then throughout these situations around this time, kind of awakens to want to be a better person or appreciate what he has. And I'm like, man, if this took place around Christmas, it would be like a unique take on A Christmas Carol. And maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but that's kind of what thought popped in my head watching this again. And yeah, I really enjoyed the journey. I liked all the little twists and situations and all the crazy shit that Michael Douglas's character goes through. How it amps up more and more and more. And again, it's well acted, it's well made, it's a good looking film. At 2 hours, I don't feel it drag. Some little things I noticed or that I liked, like the hotel manager, is a little. I recognize the actor as Yuji Okamoto, Chosen, the bad guy from Karate Kid Part 2. Just sitting there going, is that who I think it is? And I had to look up like, oh shit, yeah, it is Chosen. The guy Ralph Macchio fights at the end of Karate Kid Part 2. Cool, I forgot he was in this. Or I love the bit where he has the gun and the guy tries to rob his car. It's like, you're making a big mistake. I am extremely fragile right now. He's not even looking at the guy. The guy's like, and runs off. Just the guy's goddamn gun right in front of his face. And again, it's like, dude, have you seen Falling Down and shit? I have. Don't mess with this motherfucker. I'm extremely fragile right now. I love the way Michael Douglas says that. I like the way the scenes plays out. I like the usage of the song White Rabbit at the end. I like that at the end he talks with Deborah Unger and she invites him to have coffee at the airport and the White Rabbit plays. And the way the camera kind of pulls back as if this seems like a new beginning for Michael Douglas's character. And like I said, his demeanor, everything, you just see it change. And it's weird to say a feel-good ending compared to all the stuff that happens, but I liked that. I thought that worked for the movie. And sadly, this film did not do well when it came out. It underperformed, especially compared to Seven. It underperformed. I don't think David Fincher is proud of the film. I don't know why. I guess he thought the third act needed work. I like the third act. Michael Douglas is proud of the film. What was it that he said about the film? I think he was asked about it when Ant-Man was coming out. Because the guy talking to him was a fan of the game when the first Ant-Man movie was coming out. And Michael Douglas said... I think what I'm most proud of is that it's one of the very few movies that you cannot guess the ending. That's why I'm such a big sports fan. With sports, you can never guess what's going to happen. Most movies you get halfway through and you can kind of guess the ending. The game, you can never figure out what the ending was going to be. David Fincher is a very talented filmmaker. It was an extremely tough shoot, very long, a lot of nights. I thought it was a really well-made picture, very unpredictable, and I do hear that picture when I talk about movies that I made that people liked a lot. So he even says he thought it was a very well-made picture. And this did get a Criterion. I think I have the Criterion. I don't know, because I watched this online. Because sometimes it's just easier for me to watch a film online. And I'll just check real quick. Yeah, there is a Criterion. I might have the Blu-ray of it. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I might not. because Criterion is pretty expensive. So I was going to see what is on it. So sorry about that. I don't know if this has a 4K. Let me check what it does. This have a 4K? Someone says 4K is highly, well, they say highly likely. I don't know. Oh, Arrow Video released a limited edition of this? I did not know. Arrow Video released a limited edition of this. So it's pretty. Oh, it's out of stock. Never mind. So it, well, there you go. What was on it was a 200-page book, new audio commentary by a critic, a newly filmed interview with the co-writer, a new visual essay, then old commentary, which has a few people, but they were recorded separately, like Michael Douglas, David Fincher. Some behind-the-scenes featurettes from back to the day, online, on-location featurettes, trailer, teaser, alternate ending, etc. I don't know what the alternate ending is. I don't know if it's that much of a difference. I think it was recorded for the Laserdisc, that commentary. Yeah, it's not much different. It's just he leaves the party in a different way. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending of this film. That's one of the reasons I do love the film, so agree to disagree on that. But to me, it's a good character study about a guy who is stripped of everything and rebuilt to kind of against his will, but eventually rebuilt to, not be in his father's footsteps, which is what Sean Penn, who was the brainchild behind this, as he puts it, had to do something to become such an asshole. And kind of shake him up. Say, you're alive. That type of thing. So, again, I like it for that. I like the story. Some people don't. But I do think it's an underrated picture. I definitely think it's David Fincher's most underrated film, and it's my favorite of his. So take that for you will. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.